If you are a new YouTube creator and you've been feeling like you have to get monetized before February 1st, 2027, I want you to take a breath because I understand why you are feeling pressured. You finally decide to start creating. You gather the courage to put yourself out there. You post your first video, then another, and another. And just when you are trying to figure everything out, you hear that the requirements for monetization are changing. Suddenly, the goal that already felt difficult feels even further away. And now you are thinking, I have to hurry. I have to get my subscribers up. I have to get my watch hours. I can't afford to waste time. And maybe you've even started looking at your channel and wondering, what if I don't make it before February? But here's what I want to talk about today. What if missing that deadline doesn't mean you failed? What if you don't need to panic your way to success? And what if the biggest thing you need right now isn't more pressure, but a healthier way of looking at your journey? Because I'm thinking about this as someone who is also building from the beginning. And I think there are a few things we need to remember. I think one of the hardest things about starting YouTube is starting when nobody knows you. You are putting in all this effort, and sometimes you don't even know if anyone is going to watch. You spend time thinking about the idea. You record, you edit, you create the thumbnail, you upload, and then you wait. And maybe the video gets 30 views, or sometimes none, or 100 views, or maybe 500 views. And then you see somebody else who started around the same time and they're already growing much faster. And suddenly you start questioning yourself. Maybe I'm not too good at this. Maybe I'm too late. Maybe my niche is wrong. Maybe I should quit. I'm experiencing that feeling of looking at the numbers and wondering whether I'm actually getting anywhere. Yes, I'm experiencing that too. And that's why these new requirements caught my attention. Because I know there are so many new creators just like me who were already struggling with the pressure of getting monetized. And now they're looking at these numbers and thinking, I need to make it before February 1st. And I understand that reaction. Because when there is a deadline attached to something we really want, we naturally start rushing. But that's where I think we need to pause because YouTube is a long game. And if we turn the beginning of our journey into a race against a deadline, we might destroy the very thing we are trying to build. So, this is really just me inviting you to think about this differently with me. I'm not talking to you as someone who has already made it. I'm talking to you as another creator who is also figuring things out. I'm still learning how to make better videos. I'm still learning what people want to watch. I'm still learning how to tell better stories. I'm still learning how to become comfortable putting my thoughts out into the world. So, if you are also at that stage, you are not alone. And I want to ask you something. If you've been feeling pressured by these new requirements, tell me in the comments, what is the biggest thing you are afraid won't happen before February 1st? Is it the subscribers, the watch hours, the views, or is it simply the fear that you are working hard and still won't get there? I genuinely want to know because sometimes it helps you realize that we are not the only ones struggling with something. The first thing I think we need is awareness. We need to become aware of what pressure is doing to us because pressure can feel useful, But too much pressure can make you do things that aren't actually good for your channel. You might start uploading content you don't even care about just because you think it will get views. You might copy somebody else's strategy because it's working for them. You might jump from niche to niche. You might post constantly without taking the time to understand why something worked. You might obsessively refresh YouTube Studio and suddenly you are no longer creating, you are chasing. There's a difference, and I think we need to be honest with ourselves about that. Ask yourself, am I creating because I have something I want to say, or am I creating because I'm terrified of missing a deadline? That question matters. Because if fear becomes the reason you create, you can eventually start resenting the thing you once loved. So pay attention to yourself. Notice when you are comparing. Notice when you are panicking. Notice when your analytics are controlling your emotions. Awareness doesn't mean you stop caring about your goals. It means you stop allowing the goal to control you. The second thing I've been thinking about is that we can't just tell ourselves, stop being discouraged. That's not how it works. If you've developed the habit of checking your views every few minutes, you can't simply say, I'm never checking YouTube Studio again. You need to replace the habit instead of constantly checking your numbers. Spend that time improving your next video. Instead of comparing your subscriber count with another creator, study what they are doing well. Instead of thinking, why am I not growing? Ask, what can I learn from this? Instead of spending hours worrying about whether you'll reach monetization, spend 1 hour learning how to make a better thumbnail. Learn storytelling, improve your hook, study retention, learn how to title your videos, practice your voiceovers, create another video because you don't need to remove the desire to succeed. You need to replace anxious activity with productive activity. There's a huge difference between working hard and panicking hard. And sometimes we are doing the second one. And finally, and this is probably the lesson that means the most to me, peace. Because what is the point of building something if you completely lose yourself while building it? Yes, I want to be monetized. Yes, I want to grow. Yes, I want to reach thousands and eventually millions of people. I don't think there's anything wrong with having big dreams, but I don't want to become so obsessed with the destination that I can't appreciate the person I'm becoming along the way. Because imagine this, you finally reach monetization. You celebrate, you are so happy. And then the next morning, you look at your channel and think, okay, now I need 10,000 subscribers, then 100,000 subscribers, then a million. And if you are not careful, you are constantly moving the finish line. So when do you actually feel successful? That's why I think peace has to be part of the goal. Not just money, not just subscribers, not just views. Peace. The ability to create without constantly feeling like you are behind. The ability to learn without feeling stupid because you are still small. The ability to see somebody else succeed and be inspired instead of threatened. The ability to have a bad performing video and say, okay, that didn't work, let me learn from it, and then keep going. That to me is a different kind of success. So, if February 1st, 2027 has become this huge deadline in your head, I want you to put it back into perspective. It's a date, it's not a judgment on you. It's not the date that determines whether you are a real creator. It's not the date that determines whether your channel has potential. And it's certainly not the date that determines whether your dreams are valid. If you reach monetization before then, celebrate. Seriously, be proud of yourself. But if February comes and you are still at 300 subscribers or 700 or whatever number you're at, please don't look at your channel and decide that you failed. You didn't fail. You are building, and building takes time. Some channels take months, some take years, some videos take off immediately, others sit quietly for months before someone discovers them. You cannot always predict the timeline, and that's okay. Your job is not to control the timeline, your job is to keep improving. And even if you find yourself at 3,999 watch hours on the 1st of February, keep going, because 8,000 watch hours is not impossible to reach. It is very possible depending on how determined you are to make it. Just don't quit. And if this video was helpful to you, subscribe to my channel and follow for more encouraging videos. Bye. See you soon.